Good evening and welcome to our Facebook Live this evening. I hope that you are keeping well and that you've had a good day. It's currently just after 7 p.m. on Tuesday the 5th of October here in Brackley, and welcome to my Facebook Live for today. I have been using the Birds and Branches stamp set. If you've been following me over the last week, I've been using this with lots of different ideas, using the stamps and using the dies. One thing I haven't done is die cut the nest out and use that, but I have used the other elements. So I had the idea to try a Christmas card using these birds to make them into a robin. So I've had a little play just to get a feel for the best method of colouring these in. Oh, hi Babsy. That's very nice to have you live. Thank you. I hope you've had a good day. So I've just had a little play around really to work out how best to colour this bird to make it into a robin. There's another one there, and I've used a variety of things. So I stamped the basic robin in soft suede, and I then have used either blends pens or a Stampin Write marker to do the colouring in. And on this very first one here, I actually used the Stampin Write marker onto the stamp that fills in the bird itself. And on these ones here, I added the blends pen with the, so this is pumpkin pie. This is Calypso Coral because I couldn't find my pumpkin pie pen. It's obviously tucked somewhere. And the other thing I wanted to do was use this die cut, which again comes from this set, this one here, if you can see that, and do some colouring in, probably with the blends pens, to make it into a Christmas branch. So obviously it's not a holly design, but it could be Cotoneaster or something like that with all the berries. Obviously there's a few berries in here. So what I plan to do, and this comes from the die from the same set, which is this one here, is have a go at colouring in this and colouring and die cutting some robins and then putting that together on a card. So that is my plan. I'm hoping it's going to work. So let us make sure that I'm in the right place, which I seem to be. So I'm going to just use some offcuts of card for my robin. So I'm going to stamp a couple of robins to get a feel. I might do them, I'm not quite sure if I only need one robin for my card, but I will do both of these designs so that I can see which one would look best, really. That is my plan. So I hope you've all had a good day. I have to say I've had a very busy day, but very productive. I'm really pleased to see, to report that I managed to get all my final class in a box boxes sent today. It's been a little while waiting, but we got there in the end. So they were all delivered at the post office, and I've got, I think, 2 local ones to deliver tomorrow. And in between that, sorting out my daughter's horses and sorting out some computer issues for someone else. So it's just been one of those days, but hopefully we will get ourselves sorted. Now I'm desperately looking across my desk for the bird stamp which I know is here because I stamped it sometime earlier today. So while I'm looking for that, I'm going to do a little bit of colouring of these branches. Let's find a fairly tidy, try to find a tidy piece of grid paper. So I use grid paper obviously for my classes and for coffee and card, and then but not all of the grid paper gets used up. Some of it does quite extensively. So what I do is I cut it into sections, and then I can use it just here, which is perfect for that purpose. So I put the birds away. Oh, brilliant. Excellent. Have you been down here with Joe? In which case I was less than half a mile from you. Okay, so let's have a go at just doing a little bit of colouring of here. And I'm not quite sure which green I'm going to use, whether I'll go for Mossy Meadow. This is Old Olive. I want to colour the berries in, I'm going to go Dark Poppy Parade. This one that I did earlier is actually cut out on Smoky Slate, which is why it's got a different look to it altogether. So I can either use blending brushes or I can use blends pens. So let's have a little look. Let's do the, I'll take my glasses off. So I'm just going to do these. Let's get the end that's got a bit of juice left in it. Okay, so there's 1, 2, and I do love this design of branch. 1, 2, 3, 4 berries I can see. Like so. I'm just going to do 2 of these because I'm not sure how many I'll need, and I want to colour them slightly differently so we can decide which is the best look for what we want. What I want is a really soft, simple Christmas card on probably a white base with a little bit of blended background and just the bird on a little branch, and Happy Christmas. Don't want much, do I really? Okay, so let us try light Old Olive to start with. I just want to see. Okay, this might be, yes, this is quite an old pen. It's really old pen. Okay, let's try light Mossy Meadow. I should have got these out before. So yes, you pass my road, but where the horse is really close to Joe. So let's have a look. So this is with Mossy Meadow. And then I'm going to do one with a blending brush. Now I think that the blending brush is going to be quicker. Not that I'm going to time it, but you'll get a feel for it. So this is light Mossy Meadow. I could probably take it to dark Mossy Meadow. Yes, they do rather, don't they? A little nest like that. You're quite right. So let us see. And I do have my blending brush that I should have had with me on Monday, and I went to coffee and card without it. So Babsy and the ladies were very patient with me. Okay. Now, the other thing I could do is I could have cut this from some Pear Pizzazz card, because I think the red berries would still stand out. They won't stand out as much as they are here, but I think I might have got away with it. But it's always interesting to try different things to see the effect. So these die cuts have got a little ridge on them where the flowers are cut out, which is really sweet. Oops. Okay. Oops. Getting a bit carried away with that. Okay, just going to move those out of the way. So there is that one, and this is Light Mossy Meadow. Just going to try a little bit of Dark Mossy Meadow. Yeah, this the die set and the stamp set I think are just, oh, it's a bit dark. Wasn't quite what I wanted. I think the stamp sets and dies are really good, and you can use one without the other. You can use the stamp set. Just move my microphone a bit closer. I've forgotten I'd moved it earlier on. So I'm just going over with Dark Mossy Meadow. Let's have a look. See if this, yeah, so this brush is a bit better. There we go. So I'm just being careful. I don't want to go over my nice bright red berries. So I'm using the wider brush, and obviously this is a lot quicker. And the only reason I didn't use it on the other ones is because that brush was rather well used. And once they get well used, the tip just deteriorates a little bit. Okay. Now obviously what you can do as well is use your pen around the edges of the card if you don't want to see any of the white edges. So remember, this was a piece of white card to start with. There we go. So note to self, choose a pen that's got lots of ink with a nice where the nice wide nib works. So we have that there. Now I'm going to use this one and use my blending brush, and let's grab an ink. Now I might go darker than Pear Pizzazz. Let's have a look. Probably need to go darker. Okay, so the danger with this, you have to be just a little bit more careful when you're brushing around that you don't brush against the branches and sort of bend it back. So like so, and I'm just being careful where those berries are. Like so. The dark green does look more Christmassy. You're quite right, actually. I think. Let me just try Evening Evergreen, because I know my Mossy Meadow ink pad is not very dark, because it's in dire need of re-inking. So this Evening Evergreen might be the other extreme. Okay, let's just put this one away for the minute and have a look. Okay, it's a slightly more well, evergreen, more of a sprucey green than Mossy Meadow. But as I say, I know my Mossy Meadow is just wouldn't have enough ink to make this work. That's not too far off, actually. So thanks for that, Babsy. Definitely darker green. And you can be quite accurate with this. If you just put the ink on this tip here and you use the edge of the brush, you can get quite accurate. Obviously not as accurate as a marker pen or a blends pen. Oh, the stamp set is Birds and Branches. So I reckon for speed, and also quite like this slightly two-tone effect, the blending brush is the winner, I think. So just working my way around, just keeping away from the berries, although it doesn't matter if you go onto the berries a little bit. And your catalogue, absolutely. I did have the page marked, but I'm not quite sure where that catalogue is. Oh, that's okay. No apology needed. Other people might be wondering anyway. There we go. Okay. Right. So there's a couple of branches. So this one has got a little bit, I don't think you can really see that. Let me put these up in the light. I forget that, you know, you're sort of once removed from me. So I don't know if you can see the difference. This one is more even. This one is two-tone, where I haven't pressed so hard with the blending brush in some areas. You can see it a little bit. I don't think you can see it, as it's not as noticeable to you as it is to me. And my idea is really probably just to have a single branch with a robin with some shading in the background. But you could obviously do a whole bunch of those, and as Barbara says, you can make a nice nest with these, you know, going different directions. You could do one that way, for example. Lots of things you could do with that, and also you could have this going up the side of a card like so. Okay, so let's have a go with the birds and a bit of colouring to make these into robins. So let's stamp one each of the outlines. I'm hoping that will fit on there. So robins are quite a soft brown, and their red breast is really quite orange. It's not really red. Okay, so just inking this up. Like so. And I am going to do a couple each of these. Just so I've got some to play with. I only need one really for my card, but I want to see, that's the other one, I want to see how they come out. There we go. And I think this shape is quite it's quite typical of English small birds, small garden birds, and I think either of those would work for a robin. So what I'm thinking is, let's try, I'm actually going to colour the wing in using the stamp, and then I'll do a couple of things with this body. So I want to try it with the blends pens and the marker pen. So let's add this one here. So this one with the sort of point at the end of the stamp is the one that faces to the right. And glasses off. Going to stamp that on there. Whoops. Like so. So it just fills in and adds a little bit of detail. Again, it's one of those that shows better in real life than through my camera and then your computer. So I'm just going to do that like so. I'm going to do the same with the other. So the one with the blunt end is this one. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I've got a blends pen here with light pumpkin pie, and I've got a blends pen with light crumb cake. Let me show you some of these. So what I'm thinking, let's put these out of the way, is I'm going to bring this pumpkin pie in from this edge, like so. You can see that. And you can build up a bit of colour by going over that. And then I'm going to come with crumb cake from the other direction. So this is a light crumb cake. And you get that effect there, which I quite like. Like so. I'm going to try the same with dark pumpkin pie. like so. And I'm going to then take that down to light pumpkin pie. Just blending that out. Like so. And then coming in from this end with crumb cake. Like so. I wonder, I don't know if you can see the difference between the two. Let me see. Okay, so this is much more obvious, isn't it? Whether it is too dark, I'm wondering. And then this one here. I know that's a little bit out of your focus. Okay, I want to try with the other, in the other direction. So I'm going to build this in here. And then like so. Yes, I don't really call them robin redbreast really, but there you go. So there's that one. So let's do one with all orange. See what that looks like. Like so. It's a little bit darker in there. So I'm going to cut these out with the dies. So there's that one. So it's just a little bit darker. And in fact, on the camera, it looks really obvious. But in real life, it's not as obvious, that darker orange. There we go. Okay. One other thing I want to try is with this is to add some orange on the actual stamp set itself. So this is the infill for the bird, but what I'm going to do is put my dots on my pens to start with. Is I'm going to use my Mango Melody pen on the actual stamp, but only this bottom section. So it's only going to transfer this bit across. And a hair. So, this may not work, but that's why I stamp so many. Okay, so I've only inked up the bottom section of that stamp, and it's come out, I don't know if you can see, that's come out really quite patchy, and that's because the stamp itself has got inbuilt shade to it, and I think with the pen it's just not filling that stamp properly. So let's see if I can just go over it with the pen. So that's our Stampin' Write marker, and I know it's the wrong colour because it's Mango Melody. Actually, it's quite a good orange. So that's not as successful as I had hoped. Let me just stamp this to show you what it looks like. I could have huffed on it a little bit more, I guess. So it's got some patches in the bottom. If you can see, if I lift that up, it's got some deliberate patches in here. Perhaps this would be better to show you. And that's exactly where I want the orange to go. So it's for the purposes of colouring this robin, that design is not going to work, but it was worth a try. Okay, so I'm not quite sure which one I like the best. I think I could do a little bit more orange further up as well. So I'm just going to do this one, and then we'll crack on and make the card. I need to perhaps do a little bit of studying of robins, because I seem to remember there it comes sort of right up almost underneath their beak there. And then I'm going to come in with this crumb cake. I could take soft suede, to be honest, if I wanted it matching. Like so. There we go. Yes, exactly. It does come right underneath the face. I think you're right. So almost to there, look like that. Now it looks like he's got a bit of a beard. I'll cope with that. I appreciate that's a long way from you, for you to see. So this one probably is the closest. And let's do this one a little bit more up here as well. Because it sort of goes sort of down like that, doesn't it? I think I need to get a book of birds out. So let's just try that with a little bit of crumb cake underneath here. In fact, I could take that to soft suede or dark crumb cake. Under the wing, like so. Okay, right. So let's have a look at those pieces, the branches that I cut and coloured in. See how they're looking now. They're completely dry. So I've got this one here that I did with the blending brush, and this one here with the blends pen. And then I've got my birds. So I'm going to cut out a couple of the robins, and let's just get I had the dies just here. Oh, I've put the, I am being good about putting them back. That. Okay, so I'm just going to cut out a couple of them, and then we'll put a card together. Not quite sure which ones. This one. I'm going to cut them out one at a time. There we go. So thank you for joining me this evening. It's always nice to have company. Especially when you're experimenting and you want to try different things out. Let's try this one. There we go. And I will cut the other ones out and use them for another card. That one. Sorry to keep you in suspense while I'm just die cutting. Okay. Right. I have some robins. I have some branches. Let's grab some card. Let me just trim this down. Oh, thank you. A little star. So it goes, need to look at it closely now. Oh, right up across the face. But and only down the front a little bit. Ah, thank you for that. That's really useful. So yes, so cut it, it needs to come down a little bit, doesn't it? Thanks, Babsy. So let's see how wide that is. 9.5, that's fine. Cut two so we can do 2 cards. Yes, it does need to come over the eye, you're quite right. Let's see if I can do that. Come on. With these. Ta-da. Glasses off. It's almost up and around the eye, isn't it? Like so. Yeah, that's better. Thank you for that. Thank you, Babsy. Yes, sort of up and round the eye. Brilliant. Thank you. Okay, so what I have in mind, this may or may not work, by the way, is I want my little bit of my branch, and it might need to come in this side, and my robin with a soft background and a Merry Christmas. So I'm thinking I want a light green at the bottom. So I'm just using my blending brush in this sort of corner, and then a bit of blue on the top. Now this has got a little bit of blue left from yesterday. It was quite a dark blue, but I'm hoping most of that has gone. The beak needs to be black. Let me have a look. Oh yes. It does, isn't it? I'll try and fill it in a bit darker if I can. Right, just going to grab a bit more blue ink. Balmy blue is my go-to. Now this doesn't really have to be sky coloured. You could have a little bit of orange to make it warm for a Christmas theme. So it sort of coordinates with the robin, really. There we go. Come on. We come. Actually, the white would look nice for us. Ooh, that would look nice too. Just going to lift that up. I know it's not all stuck down or anything, but that's quite effective, isn't it, with the white? But I need a bit more blue sky. But I think you could do this, you know, like with a pink background or something like that. There we go. And I want a little bit more green at the bottom there. This is really just to tie the two together. This is a manky bit of card here at the bottom. Might trim that bit off. Okay. So now all I want is a nice Christmas sentiment, and then I can put these pieces. Yeah, you are getting fussy now, but we'll let you off. So what I want is this to sort of connect everything together, and let's grab a Christmas sentiment. So we've got to have a holly jolly Christmas. Now this is not actually holly, unfortunately. Merry Christmas, season's greetings. This is a bit too deep. I want something more across there. Let's have a look at Merry Christmas. I had in mind something. I could move this down a little bit. or move that down. Let's try that one and see. I've got bits that we can play with. So this is with the blends pen, and it was Evening Evergreen. Let's just try this out. Merry Christmas. There we go. And that is from Christmas to Remember. I do want to trim this tatty bit off the bottom. Just get rid of that little edge. What's Babsy saying? Yeah, I'd agree, I'm afraid. I do like capital letters for sentiments, absolutely. Always. But I'll let it go this time. Right, so I'm going to bring this in from the right hand side. Just going to add a little bit on that edge. So I'm just going to dot. Let's see where my robins are going to go and which one I'm going to use. So I've got one here and one here. I'm going to lift him up. I really want to see this little thing under there. I know he's got no legs. Oh, thank you, Babsy. I'm going to have a little bit of bling to it as well, of course. So, just going to turn this over, add some glue. So I'm just going to add some dots of glue. So I'm wondering what other colours I could introduce in there, whether I did like an orange backing or something would be quite nice to mimic the orange in the robin. So I'm just doing dots of glue on the leaves and on the berries, just a gentle amount. Literally the smallest dot going. There we are. And I'm actually going to bring this down a little bit to there, I think. And then I can sit on there like that. Okay. Whoops. Blown all my stalks away. Okay, so there's my base. Oh, red backing, that would be nice, wouldn't it? I was thinking red and then white. And I'm going to pop him up with some dimensionals when I can see some. It's dangerous when you take your glasses off to see what you're doing and then you can't see what you're doing. There we are, two little bits on there, and I'm just going to have a little strip for that tail. Along there. Now this has got legs, but I find when you die cut the legs, although I have to say that I haven't stamped and die cut them, they do look a little bit more bulky. So I'm just going to have does it look a bit odd, too far over? Because the logical place is just there, you see, isn't it? Too far over and I feel it's unbalanced. There we go. So I'm going to trim these little bits off here and then mount this onto. I'm going to use Babs's suggestion, a red backing and then a white card. Ooh, that was a stroke of luck. Like so. Might need to trim this down. Is it going to? Might just make it, mightn't it? Just saves me cutting another piece. Normally I would have it, I could cut a little bit of that off, couldn't I? So this should be, yeah, 14.35. So it can come down a little bit here. And then I'm going to take a little bit of this edge off. See where we're at. Just got it is a very narrow edge, but it will serve our purpose. Let's grab a white card. There we go. That's it. So I'm going to take a little bit more of this bottom edge off. I want to take it off the bottom because that's a little bit manky, but I want to keep the balance of the card really. Okay, that's fine, that will do the job. And add a little bit of bling. There we go. Onto the white. We do have a lovely stamp set called, I think, Holidays, Holly. It has a stunning robin in it, and it is my aim to do a good job of colouring that in. Okay, let's add a little bit of bling to finish that off. Now I need to put my glasses on to see the bling. Sorry. I thought I had it in my box. From yesterday. Well, I've got some, but that's not really one. I want some just a little bit of gentle sequins or something. So I can't see my bling box. I don't know why. It should be just here. So I will add to that a little bit later just to finish that off. But just so that you can see that one. Thank you, Jeanette. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I am going to do one just with a little bit of orange backing, but it will be the same sort of layout really. I might try it with a white branch. So if anybody wants to hold on while I do that, you're welcome. But equally, if you've got places to go, I fully understand. Let's cut this one down. So I'm just going to colour the back of this in orange. It's about right. It's amazing what small difference it can make. So I'm just going to use my yellow blending brush here with pale papaya, this one here. So for those that are going, that's absolutely fine. I will be back, goodness me, tomorrow, Wednesday morning at 10 AM. So I look forward to having you join me then. And I think I might do this one facing in from the left hand side. So I'm going to add my shading over here. That lovely clean ink pad. How rewarding is that? You'll probably know that we can refill all our ink pads. They're designed to be refilled, but there's nothing nicer than a brand new ink pad. There we go. So you can vary the amount of pressure you put on your blending brushes by where you position your hand. So you can have your hand right at the end and you'll get a very light effect. You can put your finger straight onto this and get a much deeper effect because you're putting more pressure on the head, like so. And I tend to sit in the middle at the sort of neck, just to be awkward. So I'm just going to do this really quickly because it's way past the time people are usually watching me. I think the average time for watching my videos is about 10 minutes. So maybe what I need to do is just stick to 10 minutes. What do you reckon? Okay. Right, let's see what that looks like. I'm going to try it with a white branch, like so, and a robin facing that way. have him further up actually on here, couldn't I? Let's just turn this, that looks too on the wrong side. Okay, let's have a look at this. That wasn't the one I coloured in. I've blown it away somewhere. Here it is. You're quite right, Barbara. You would just see the cardstock and stamp. You're right, absolutely right. So, quite favouring this. Like so. What do you think? Is it too plain? Let's add a bit more colour. That's if I bring this out a bit. And then I just need to find my box of bling and hunt out some orange sequins. Obviously you could use patterned paper behind this, you could use designer paper, you could use orange card, you could use pale papaya card. I might just have a quick look at that. Let's see. That's just the card. That's just too... Might be right if it was embossed. It might work if it was embossed. Pumpkin pie card. Oh yes, that's true. That would make it stand out, wouldn't it? There we go. I love the effect that the blending gives around these edges. It's so soft and subtle. There we go. And I could just have a little bit of blue in this corner here. So I'm going to do that. And then we'll be done. There we are. So I'm not sure how much of that you can see. Take that out of your light. So I've got some balmy blue sitting here on that top right hand side. It is balmy blue. There we go. Okay, right, let's get on and get this sorted. So I'm quite liking this white against that with the bird. I think what I'm going to do is trim this little bit down here. So that it makes more of a flat piece, and obviously you can angle this accordingly. There we go, and then he's separated from everything else. And then let's just put, just going to put Merry Christmas on the top. And what colour is that? Evening Evergreen. You know what I'm going to choose. It is subtle, and that's what I had in mind, was definitely subtle. Espresso I'm after. There it is. And as I've got Merry Christmas here all lined up ready, that's what I'm going to use. Perfect. Well done, Babsy. She guessed it. Right, glasses off. Like so. Got ink all over my fingers, I can see. And we'll give this one the same. Dots of blue, and we're done. I'm quite sure what backing to put on this. There we go. I'll trim the edges off. Which one do I like the most? Thank you. Trim this a little bit. Yes, I'm not quite sure actually. Pumpkin pie, balmy blue. I was just trimming it because I didn't get a very good edge when I ran it through the die cutting machine. There we go. Well, I hope it's not raining with everybody. Definitely not particularly nice here, although no forecast for rain tonight. So I'm just using a little bit of that blending brush with the pale papaya on it. Bless you, Barbara. Okay, let's just put this on. 1, 2. Like that. I've got a tiny little bit here sticking. Oh no, it's not sticking up now. I'm going to trim that edge off there. 2. And then decide what to put behind. Quite like that, pale papaya and white. Just keep that subtleness going. Hi Scott, you caught me just as I'm finishing. But I hope you're well, and I hope the girls are well. Lovely to see you at Coffee and Card last week. So I'm making this non-Christmas set into a Christmas set. Birds and branches. And there's a whole stack of videos over the last 5 videos are all using this stamp set. So I've made this into a very subtle Christmas card. This is the other one I made. This one here. It's waiting for some bling when I can locate it. So I'm just going to layer this up and pop it onto a white card, which I have here. And we're all done. So if you want to see any of the other cards, just click on the videos or go to my YouTube, and the most recent one will come up first. And then my dinner will be ready. Slow cooked pulled pork. All being well. So it's just a little border around there. So a very different colour scheme for a Christmas card, but I rather like it. Just to mimic that little colouring for the robin, really. Obviously you could make it much darker if you wanted to. There we go. And then I'll probably put one of the nice sentiments inside from this set. So, love and joy come to you, and may it last the whole year through. Or friends like you make this season special. Or may this be a Christmas to remember and cherish. Or have a holly jolly Christmas. I'll pop those on the inside of the cards. But I've finished for now because I've gone on long enough. So I hope you like my finished cards. Let me just bring this up to the screen. So there's that one there. It does need a bit of bling. Just some light sequins. And then this one here. So an alternative Christmas set of colours. Right, find my glasses. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Sorry it's gone on quite a long time, but it was worth having a play with the birds to get our the best robin that we could. So definitely having the more of the orange up around the heads and then down the front is definitely more robin-like. Very entertaining. Thank you, Babsy, and thanks for your input and assistance with the colouring of the robin. Okay, so thank you so much, everybody. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, morning, afternoon, depending on what time you're watching us, whether you've been watching live or on replay. Oh, thank you, Scott. So there's a whole series of cards that I've made with this set here called Birds and Branches. So have a look through. They're really stunning images and really easy to use as well. Thank you so much, everybody. You take care. Enjoy your evening, as I said. Thanks for watching. Look after yourselves and do keep crafting. Bye for now.